And I want to say this is going to have a lot of garlic. The pasta we're recreating today is an old, like, I want to say an old pasta from the CPK menu, California Pizza Kitchen menu, but it hasn't actually, I want to say, been on the menu since maybe like 2019. It's really old. They don't make it anymore. But I did find like a copycat recipe, thankfully for the internet, on the internet. So we're gonna smash some garlic. Just wanna take the side of the knife and smash it. That way you can release it from its husk. Peel the garlic out. And I have a cast iron pan heating up back there. We're gonna peel some garlic. As soon as that water in the background is coming to a roaring boil, we'll add in some pasta noodles. I'm gonna use thin spaghetti. You can certainly use whatever you want to use. And I have a few of our vegetables already chopped up. And also, we were live before. Welcome, you guys. We were live before, but I don't know, I guess my connection just sort of like crashes and it just turns the live off. So sorry about that. We are past 500 though. We are past 500 subs, so this is a very toned down version of our Chef Boyardee, like our cooking show. So, and we're just gonna prep these, and then after this, it should be enough. We're gonna rinse those, what do you call it? Mushrooms off back there. We're gonna chop this garlic off. And yeah, that's basically it. And then we'll get to cooking. Okay. Alright, and I have about 4 large cloves of garlic. 2 medium, 2 small. So let's see, we'll cut them lengthwise first. And if you were here earlier today, if you spent the day with me, appreciate you. Anybody who was coming back from earlier, thank you so much. We were just kind of spending the day together. I did about 30 minutes of the treadmill today to aid in digestion and premenstrual cramps and stuff like that. So then I shampooed the carpet off camera. I changed my clothes after that. We went out into the garage. And I cleaned in there for about 45 minutes. We broke down some boxes. Appreciate you for the likes. Broke down some boxes, and now we're gonna have lunch. So I have some water back there boiling. I have some broccolini. I have some zucchini that I took the skin off of and made into little ribbons with the julienne peeler. And then I also have the tops separated from the stems of the broccolini. I trimmed off the very, very, very ends, and then the lengths I just cut on a bias, because you can eat them. They are edible. You just have to cook them a little longer than the tops. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll start with that. And I'm gonna just keep this sauce on olive oil based sauce. You can also make it tomato based if you like. I'm gonna just retain the freshness in the veggies and kind of let them shine, as well as the garlic. Okay, so I have plenty of garlic. You can use half the amount. I have about 3 tablespoons chopped garlic. Rinse my hands here. And I have a cast iron pan going back there. I'm going to take a little salt. Okay, I have to open up another container of salt. Let's see. And we want it to be a roaring boil. Welcome back, you guys. I love cooking and want to be a chef. You look like you know what you're doing. Any tips for sauces? In terms of consistency, or do you mean, like, do you have like a, like specifically like for covering meats or for pasta, or maybe the sauce is for dipping, maybe it's for dressing like a salad or something like that? What's your question? I'm open to questions. But I guess for tips, maybe just to focus on consistency. Focus on consistency and practice emulsion. And if it's something that's going to cover meat, maybe make sure you have a saucepan and it's being cooked on low heat. You don't want to break the sauce. I'm trying to think of what else I could say now. Yeah, I think tasting really helps throughout the cooking process. And if you're reluctant, maybe if it's like a gravy or something like that, you could also use a spoon method to test to see if the consistency of your sauce is really good or thick enough or not too runny. So yeah, I think focusing on your foundations would help a lot in that regard. Sauces are really hard. They're really hard, especially if it's not just for pasta. Seasoning, right now I haven't seasoned anything for the dish that we're making. Right now we're making a veggie pasta. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of California Pizza Kitchen. It is like a pizza joint here in California. Thank you for that. Helps later down the road. Yeah, I'm glad. Have a good day. Thank you. Okay, see you. Bye. They use me for information in this dish and then they take off. I love that. Let's see. But yes, this is all my prep here. I'm gonna just have the shavings from this. This is very cheap Parmesan, but I am gonna use it up today. It was all stuck together at one point there, so just use this up. And then I also have a wedge of some Parmesan that I could use up as well. And then I have a cast iron over there heating up, you guys, and we have our water going. It's not boiled yet. I did season it with some salt, that water. We want to make sure that the water is as salty as the alkalinity in your blood. So very, very salty, okay, for the pasta. An outrageous amount, literally tip it over, count to 2, and then, you know, pull it back up. I mean, you know, a liberal amount. We have our broccolini here. We have the stems cut on a bias here. And then we have a little bit of zucchini ribbons, okay, that I took with the julienne peeler here. You could also use these as noodles if you really wanted to, since they're kind of like, they have a little bit more structural integrity like the pasta noodles, but you do what you want. I'm just gonna add them in for a little bit more fiber and more texture to the pasta dish. And then I have about 3 large cloves of garlic, 2 medium, 2 small. About, I'd say 2.5 tablespoons to 3 tablespoons of chopped garlic. It is not a fine mince by any means. The more fine it is minced, the more pungent the garlic flavor will be. I have to get rid of this garlic. I have a lot. This is like a big bag that I had bought in, so I don't mind that there's a lot of texture here. Some aspects of it are a little bit more minced up. A lot more of them are a little bit more chunky. I don't mind the variation. Some are going to be a pungent aromatic flavor and some are not, which is great. This is more of a volume thing for me. I just want to get rid of it. So If I was you, I would do probably 1 tablespoon and try to mince it as fine as possible, okay? That would be my recommendation. You could also do a little bit of lemon zest. You could also do just the juice itself. I say if you're gonna use the juice, try to use the zest as well. The actual flavor of lemon really comes from the zest, so you could do that as well if you want to brighten it up. If you are using a tomato-based sauce, which I won't be, you could use the zest to brighten it up. But it's definitely up to you. I'm going to add some acidity in there with some chopped tomatoes. I have some stuff back here that I want to use up. Okay. I have a can of crushed tomatoes that I jarred. I put it in this jar, put it in the fridge. We'll strain out the liquid. We'll just use the tomatoes, okay? I have some mushrooms that I have to get rid of. I'll probably use half of this package. If not all of them, they're going to reduce down a whole lot. So we'll put those in to start, okay? And then we'll put in the broccoli stems, the broccolini stems, all right? And then I also have some marinara, homemade marinara that I used for pizzas the other day. Appreciate you guys for the likes. Let's see. And so I'm just gonna probably use this up. It's not a lot of sauce, but I do have to use it up. And it's just from 2 nights ago, so yeah, that's what we're gonna get started with. Back here I have a pot of boiling water. Okay, we have a lot of salt in there as well. Appreciate you guys for the likes. We have our pan heating up on low. It's a lot of heat retained in that pan already, so I'm gonna get started. Let's get some, hello, hi. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, thank you. Sending love. I love that. You guys are sweet. Okay, I'm gonna get the noodles. I'm gonna get the noodles out. We're gonna use thin spaghetti. I'm going to use like the whole box. I'm gonna use the whole entire box, okay? I am. This is gonna, basically this is our meal prep pasta dish. We have some pasta going down in here. And we did reach 500 subs. We've definitely passed that. So this is our Chef Boyardee segment. Even though I'm not completely dolled up and we don't have any alcohol, this is like the bare minimum of what I could show you for that segment on my channel. And it's a live cooking channel, a live show where I cook live with you guys. And usually we play music and drink alcohol and make cocktails and stuff. But I can't do that right now because I'm kind of under the weather. Okay. We have our tomatoes here. And I'm gonna put them back in this jar. I rinsed them off and I just have the crushed tomatoes by themselves in here. Okay, we'll add these in for a little bit of acidity and texture. But I just like to get them out of the tin can if they've been sitting in there, you know. So they've been sitting in my fridge now in this glass jar. But, okay, let's see. Let's start with the mushrooms. You can really cook these down for a pretty long time. And we have quite a bit. There's plenty. Okay, I'm gonna try to take about half and see where we get. Should I do all of it, chat? All the mushrooms or no? People are gonna say I hate mushrooms, but there's not that many in the container anymore. Oh God. This is not very many, and they're gonna break down quite a bit, so I have a feeling we should cook all of them. I'm gonna just cook all of them, because it's kind of like now or never. If you want to get mushrooms from the store fresh, you better buy them that day. That's how it really feels, honestly. They go back so quickly. Let's rinse. Chat saying all. Okay, chat, we're gonna do all. I'm gonna rinse them, give them a nice rinse. under cold water, really cold water. Let's see. Okay. All right. I wish I had a paper towel. We would dry them off a little bit. Appreciate you guys for the likes. Okay. Let's spin the pasta around. Adds to the flavor. There you go. Okay, stir in the pasta. I'm gonna lower the heat a little bit now. Here we go. We'll probably bring you guys over here. Bring you over here. Oh no, I wonder if I can put you down on this. Okay, hopefully you guys can stay there. Okay, let's start with some olive oil. A generous amount. Okay. We'll turn our heat off. We'll add our mushrooms in. Turn our heat back on. We'll keep it on high for now. We just want to coat everything in that oil. And our pan was hot, okay? So you want to look for a nice shimmer in the oil. Appreciate you guys for the likes. Okay? Heat needs to radiate, okay? Just like before we put the mushrooms in, it was a little bit of water crackling in the pan. That's how we know the pan is hot, the oil is hot enough for something to go into the pan now. So we'll keep the heat on high. There was a little smoke, so we turned the heat off to cool it down a little. And then we turned it back on in order to maintain the temperature. Okay, we'll coat them in the oil, and then I'm going to add a little bit of salt. A little salt, we want to start getting rid of that water that's trapped in these mushrooms. We want to have them release with some salt here. A nice light sprinkle, and give it a toss. And then we'll keep that heat on high. You can instantly hear the change in sound. We go from more of a sizzle. Now it seems like it's more of a steam or a boil. That water immediately will release or render out from those mushrooms. You want to make sure your pan is nice and hot. Appreciate you for the taps, you guys. Thank you for the likes. We want to make sure that the pan remains hot. We don't necessarily want to boil anything, so the heat needs to kick off that water as soon as possible. A high temperature will do that. We'll give our pasta a twirl. Okay. Let's see. But where are you coming from? From California. Do you put the mushrooms in the pan for a bit of saute, then add the sauce? Oh, you did as I was typing. Oh, you're good. I just try to put the toughest vegetable into the pan first. The vegetable that's going to take the longest cook time. You can kind of cook mushrooms to almost no end. That's really the nice thing about it. They're able to be eaten in that raw state, as well as you can cook them down for quite a long time. And some people almost feel as though it takes forever for mushrooms to cook down. So adding a little bit of salt, and really there is no doneness is what I could say. So that's why I put those ones in first. They can really render out for a very long time. You know, if you've ever caramelized an onion, it's kind of the same process. It almost feels like it's just forever, you know. So at some point, when I feel like there's reduction in the pan and water has evaporated off the pan from the mushrooms, I'll put in, for me, these broccolini stems. They are edible, but they do take a very long time to cook down and become, you know, tender. The tops usually cook a lot faster, so I'll put those at the end, as well as the garlic. Okay, so I'll probably layer in the stems next. And then I will go in with the zucchini and tomatoes at the very same time, just the crushed tomatoes or diced tomatoes without any of the liquid from the can. And then once those kind of get acquainted, I might have to add a little bit more oil, and then we'll finish off with the broccolini and then garlic at the very, very end. I don't want to burn it, so that's just what I'm going to do today. And then I might add in a little bit of this marinara. I guess it just depends. We'll probably add that in at the very end. It doesn't need more cooking time, but it does need to heat up and combine. And then we'll finish it off with a little bit of cheese. I got to get rid of this Parmesan in here. And some lemon juice and lemon zest, if it needs juice. But we might just use the zest. Okay, I don't know if you can hear it, but the mushrooms also got hotter. So they finally come back up to temperature. A lot of that moisture is off of the mushrooms now. We're just left with the olive oil. It's a very, very harsh simmer. So we'll take the temperature halfway down to medium. Okay. Ooh. Okay. This is meal prep, so for the sake of it being meal prep, at this point, I'm going to save about half of these mushrooms for a different dish that I'm going to make later in the week. Let me strain off this oil. A nice slotted spoon, get them out of here. About half, because we're going to have a lot of vegetables in this pasta. I don't want to crowd the pan by any means, because we're going to have to add our pasta in. And then you hear that get a little louder. We need to lower the heat one more time. I'm going to just put it on low. You can hear the simmer go down. That's what we want. We want to maintain the temperature. We don't want anything to burn. We don't want our pan to get too hot when we add in our other stuff. And this is kind of like a waiting period since I'm spooning things out, so I'll lower the heat. You can control it as much as you need to, depending on your gas, depending on the pan you're cooking in. So I'll show you now. This is perfect. This is a perfect amount that I will leave residual in the pan. Gorgeous. This is plenty. We have plenty of vegetables. And see, we have pockets through the pan peeking through. Okay, we don't have a full coverage layer. So this is even distribution. It's perfect amount for our pasta. Okay, and then I'm gonna let these mushrooms cool down. I'm gonna use those in a different pasta dish later on. We'll start with our broccolini. We're gonna take just the stems now, put them in. Okay, we'll let these cook down. Heat back on high. Okay, I might put you guys back on the tripod. Just really quick. Just so you guys could see what I'm doing, hopefully. I know it broke earlier when we were out in the garage. And then when we came into the house, it broke again. We're getting a new one, you guys. And that way you guys would be able to see better. Okay. I wonder if this is cool for you. Do you guys like that angle, chat? We'll let that cook down a little bit. Oy. What are you guys doing today, chat? What are you guys getting into? We want to make sure everything is evenly hitting the pan. Those are done. Okay, let me get a strainer. Oh. Where's my lid? Oh, here it is. We'll strain out these noodles. I want to keep a little bit of pasta water They're getting hungry. I know, I'm hungry too. I'm going to eat. We're going to cool them down about 3 times. Nice cool water. I'm going to stop the cooking process as soon as possible. Okay. Our noodles are back there. They're really good now. Everything has reduced down in this pan. Beautiful color. Gorgeous color. Nice and toasty. I love it. Looks good. Oh, so good. So good. I love it. They look so pretty. The texture is gorgeous on the mushrooms. Nice and gold. Really nice and gold and beautiful. Okay. Spread everything out evenly once again. Our stems are going to give us some texture. We're going to add in now, I'm going to do these little zucchini ribbons. And I don't know if anybody got to see our prep plate, but this is what we have left to put inside there. They like the cast iron. I'm glad. Okay, let's see. Let's put in these zucchini rolls. Okay, we'll add in our tomatoes. Okay. Add a little bit more around the edge of the pan. A little bit of oil around the edge of the pan. It'll kind of go underneath everything. Get hot enough from the edge of the pan and then seep underneath, which is perfect. We had to add a little bit more. We're going to go in with the broccolini tops now. And I like to keep the tops full. You can cut them down a little bit more if you like. But I like to keep them full. We got a lot of texture going on, so I like to try to retain that. Okay, we'll bring you closer. Okay, and we'll turn our heat all the way back up. You could hear that the simmer kind of turns more into something that sounds a little more subtle. We could assume that a lot of the water is being pushed out into the pan, blending in with the oil at that point. You kind of create steam. That's really what we don't want. So we want to cook off that water as soon as it hits the pan, as soon as those veggies hit the pan. You can hear it getting louder than me now. We want to go ahead and turn it. Just want to make sure that the broccoli tops get nice and vibrant green compared to how they started. We'll make room, make sure they're kissing the pan. We want to make sure it actually gets down to the actual pan. Sear those off. Okay. I'm going to keep it on medium low. We'll add in our chopped garlic. We'll use the back of the knife. I don't want to dull the knife, so we'll just try to use the spine there. Okay. And then I got a little bit of this marinara that I made to make pizzas the other day. So I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to use some pasta water to get it out of this container. Let's go ahead and combine everything. I want that garlic to get down into the sauce. Alright, I'm going to just ladle this in. Oops. Where are we at? We've got a little bit of this hot pasta water we'll put in. Hello? Hello? Okay, about four big tablespoons of that. Just give it a swirl. Just make sure it gets off the bottom of the jar there. But you don't have to put this in. It's optional. I'm using everything up that I have in my fridge. Combine that. I'm going to just go ahead and scoot everything over. I'm going to crank the heat up a little bit. Okay. Make sure it's nice and hot. Scoot my pan over. We want our oil-based sauce to actually be there, so we have to heat it up a little bit more. All that water, all that acid from our tomatoes is coming off now. Once this oil is heated up on this side, we'll go ahead and combine it. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. We're going to try it. We do need to season it now. We can combine everything in a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this pasta water. It should be a little salty already. I'm going to add some fresh cracked black pepper. Okay. Pinch of sugar. And then we'll add in our noodles. After we give it a try. We rinse those noodles off. We don't want the noodles to be too salty.